And you're listening to All Action Sports Radio here at allactionsportsradio.com. Don't forget our website is allactionsportsradio.com. Our Facebook page is All Action Sports Radio. And don't forget our email, allactionsportsradio@gmail.com. And our tip line, 714-888-5683. Call us. We're here at All Action Sports Radio. And with that said, in our top story of the day, now writing for Famous Stars and Straps, Monster Energy Drink, and Etnies, Jeremy Stenberg, also known as Twitch. He's now dropping a new movie, 420% all natural, drops May 14th. He broke new ground with his video, I'm Still Here, straight out of a Rocky movie. Dude is bringing it. The Metal Militia unleashed the beast. 2010 Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series Super Light Truck Champion, True Life movie star, X-Life movie star, Jeremy Stenberg, Twitch, in studio with All Action Sports Radio. Welcome, my man.
Thanks
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a pleasure for us to have you in studio.
It's a big deal.
You're someone we were hoping and wanting to get. And now that you're here, what I like to do, and I hope we have your permission, your story's out there.
Yeah.
The true life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I've watched the episodes. The X-Life, it's out there. You know, I think people know the story, but they don't know the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of rumors, misconceptions, gossip,
Yep.
and I like to dispel all that. And I like
problem.
to get to the root of that. We'll start from the beginning, then we'll work our way all the way back to where you are right now.
Let's do it.
And we'll let everybody know that 420% all naturals dropping May 14th.
Yep.
Right? Where can they get that at?
iTunes.
iTunes. 99 cents?
No. I think it's like $6 or $7.
$6 or $7.
But it's a 35, 40-minute movie.
A 35, 40 minute movie that's
Worth
coming
the
out.
$6.
And to get everybody pumped, are you doing X Games this year?
Yep. Yeah.
You doing X Games?
As of right now, I just got my invite for Best Whip and most likely Step Up in Speed and Style.
Okay, sweet. That's what people want to know. Twitch is still moving and shaking in the world.
Got to do it.
All right, Twitch. True Life. I have Tourette's syndrome.
Yep.
Now, do you want us to call you Twitch or
Yeah,
Jeremy?
whatever you guys want.
Okay, so Twitch because you had Tourette's, right?
Yep.
That became your nickname. When you were young or older?
When I was young, when I was it happened from one of like my first sponsors, like the guys from SMP. It was like Milo Myers and Trigger Gum. Like I was hanging out with them dudes and they just started calling me Twitch out of nowhere. And my dad got pretty pissed about it. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, these dudes are making fun of my son. Like, I'm like, nah, Dad, it's cool. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, like this is going to be like, your son's going to use this name in the future. And he's like, yeah, right. Now look at me now, 15 years later. And
It's a brand.
Twitch it is.
yeah, I'll call people. I'm like, yo, what's up? This is Jeremy Stenberg. They're like, who? I'm like, Twitch. They're like, oh, hey, what's going on? I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't even know my real name.
Absolutely. That happens to a lot of people. You know, they take a negative and turn it to a positive. And you are the face of Tourette's for many people. And they see what you've accomplished in such a short time in your life, you know, and they figure this can't hold me back because some people, they move forward or they move back and you chose to move forward.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I get so many, like I have a mild case of it. Like some kids have it really bad. You know what I mean? But for me to like, hear that kid come up to me in contest like, yo, like, thank you so much. You gave me motivation to keep trying this or doing that. That's like, that makes me feel good inside. Like, I mean, all I did was just be myself. And I just looked at the bigger picture. Like, I'm not going to let a little thing hold me back. You know, some people might, but me, I'm like, it's just a bump in the road. You move forward. If you want something, you go for it.
Well, you were diagnosed at age 8.
Yeah.
Right. And you'd already been riding, motocross with your father.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
every day.
So your father, he kind of was training you for where you are right now, but maybe he wanted you to ride like Supercross.
It
outdoors.
wasn't even necessarily that. Like my pops took me. I grew up in like super ghetto neighborhood in San Diego, so all my friends and dudes I went to school with were either in a gang or drug dealers, and my dad wanted to keep me away from that, so he would take me riding every day. Like I come from school, bikes would be loaded. He'd pick me up like at lunchtime early from school in his riding gear with the bikes in the back of the truck and be like, oh, he has a dentist appointment today. I'm like, how do you think they're gonna believe I got a dentist appointment? You're in riding gear, you know what I mean? He's like, I don't care, we're going riding. I would get in trouble at school. Mom's like, or I'd get suspended for a week, you know, wasn't the best kid in school. I was always ADD, just always getting in trouble. Mom would be like, all right, you ain't going nowhere today. She would leave. My dad's like, all right, let's go ride. We just got to be back by 2 before she gets here.
So he just wanted you to ride. He wasn't like setting you up like for Supercross or Arena Cross.
No, he just wanted someone to ride with, and he had his son, so he's like, let's go riding. You know what I mean? Like my dad loved riding. Like he worked his whole life, and then like when I got to the age of like where I started riding, like liking it, he was like, well, I'm gonna take some time off and hang out with my son. You know, and we went riding every day. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So he was kind of living his dream.
He was through me.
Was he a rider before? Was he professional, semi-professional?
No, he just always rode. Like everyone, like ever since I can remember, we went to the desert, Glamis, Akatia, Buttercup for every holiday. My parents and friends and family would all meet up at the desert for holidays. And for me, my dad took me riding every day, and I ended up being at the right place at the right time, and it turned into a career.
Now, did you know you wanted to get a career in FMX, or where did you didn't just jump into FMX right away, right?
No, I raced for a long time, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to race Supercross. I wanted to be like Jeremy McGrath and like Rick Johnson and Bailey and all those dudes. And when I started seeing like Krusty One and like Moto Triple X videos, I started seeing like Metzger, Deegan, Link Algo, those dudes. I'm like, damn, like that looks fun. Like I could do that, you know? So I started doing tricks, and it just happened to be like SMP was right across the street from where I rode, and during their lunch break, the team manager and the owner would go over there and ride. And I was just, like I said, I was at the right place at the right time. They hit me up. They're like, yo, we want you to come in, have a meeting. If we want to sponsor you, like we're doing this thing called Freestyle Motocross. It's about to pop off. And so I told my dad, my dad's like, ain't no one going to pay you to do tricks. Like, you need to be out there practicing your corners. You know what I mean? If you want to race, he's like, well, let's go. We went into the meeting, came out. My dad's like, all right, let's go get you what you need. You're going to jump now. Like, he's like, you're going to make $300 a month. Go do it, you know?
Nice.
Oh,
and that was like when I was 16. So
to which I like to ask this question. When did you know that, you know, you started doing tricks, you went with S&P. Did they get you in those black and white pants early on?
Yep. I had all the baggy stuff.
Yeah, you know, I knew those guys way back when. They were going to be one of my first sponsors. I used to
Nice.
Escape Films, and they were just, I'd go party with them and hang out with them, and they gave me these black and white pants, and they were like, this, you know, everybody was into that.
Yeah, that's what that was that era of baggy gear.
Yeah, way back when.
I wouldn't be caught dead wearing that stuff.
I know, but they were so proud of them when they brought them out to me. They were like, check these out, man.
You're part of the crew. You got the uniform.
No, S&P was cool, man. They were cool back then. They gave you your start.
Yeah, they did.
They gave you your start. So when did you know? Like everybody, you know, Krusty's. When Krusty broke, you know, it was huge.
Yeah.
And I remember I was there, the premiere. Nobody saw it coming, but all of a sudden it was just like, boom, there it is. When did you know that you can do that? You know, you see that movie and you look at it and you're saying, I can do that.
Well, I always grew up riding BMX, so I was always doing tricks anyways, like on my bicycles. And I was like, when I started seeing the video, I'm like, damn, I should try that on my motorcycle, you know? And I started trying it and started getting good and getting better and better. And eventually, like, I started going to contests, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I think this is possible for me to do this, and I just did it.
All right, nice. You listen to All Action Sports Radio here at allactionsportsradio.com. This is our top story of the day. We have Jeremy Stenberg, Twitch, from FMX fame.
That's
in
right.
studio here at All Action Sports Radio. Now, when worlds collide, when did you meet up with Brian Deegan?
I met with Deegan and Link Ogle back in like maybe 98. Yeah, like the beginning of 98, and started riding for them, I think, in 99.
Now, Deegan had already created the brand of the Metal Militia. I remember I talked about this earlier some shows ago, how I met with Deegan and those guys when they first came up with the idea of the Metal Militia, and they took it to SIA, the trade show.
Yeah.
And I remember running into Deegan because no one had ever done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And they wanted to, everybody wanted to get sponsored by somebody and ride for that company. That was the first time some guys got together and said, you know, we're going to create our own brand and people are going to ride for us.
Yeah.
You know, and it was novel, and a lot of people thought they were going to fail, including me, you know, because they were flying in the face of the establishment. And the compound was like legendary.
Yeah, they were like anti everybody,
Yes.
anti any corporate sponsor, any like dude that had fame. They're like, forget that dude, you know?
Exactly. And I remember,
I looked at it like, man, these dudes are dope. Like they're clowning like the biggest names in every sport right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's how it was. I liked it.
you know, they had the skull, they had the black. You know, everybody thought they were like, it was just out of this world. I remember telling Deegan I wanted to go to the compound, and he goes, you know, yeah, anytime. You know, you know he talks. And so you meet up with Deegan and those guys, and you're like, okay, how'd that go?
It was cool. Like I started hanging out with Metzger a lot. Like when I first started, like I would go up and stay at his house on the couch, and then I met Deegan and I met Link Ogle, and they're like, yo, like we're building a compound. They were the first guys to have an actual compound at the time. And they're like, come ride with us. I started hanging out with them, just riding. And it wasn't like, oh, you're sponsored. It's just like, it just developed into like, oh, I'm part of the group now. You know what I mean? Without anyone saying it, it just happened.
So now you're hanging with the Metal Militia. They're gaining notoriety. They're gaining fame because not only do they have that reputation, they're backing it up by the tricks and the stunts. And the X Games is putting them on a platform unlike any other, right? Now you look at where you started and where you are right now, not this moment, but in that moment with the Metal Militia. It's like the height of of fame for somebody in your industry, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like that was the premier group. That was in the beginning. That was the group that it was just a couple dudes that everyone was like, oh, those guys are like worthless. They're troublemakers. They're just getting into trouble. No, they ain't gonna amount to nothing. And I looked at it from the outside point of like, I like these dudes. I like their style. I like how they're talking crap on everyone. Like that's how I always grew up talking crap. You know what I mean? That's what I'm good at. And I was like, I fit right in with these guys. So I like started going around them at the contest, Feist, Deegan, Link, and just hanging out and just talking crap, hanging. And it was cool. It just developed into like a friendship, more like a relationship with friends. You know what I mean? And from then it just took off. And that was something I wanted to be a part of. I give it up to Deegan and Link for starting a company. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have had all that recognition. Like that was my point or my way to get my name out there, and they helped me a lot.
No, absolutely. And when you start winning and selling, you become more of a business and less of a friendship because you have to sustain that. You have to keep it going.
When you can talk crap and you can go out there and back it up, the world's like, wow, like these dudes ain't playing. Like they're saying they're gonna do it, and they go out and do it. And I think that's like where a lot of the fans are like, yo, these dudes are real. Like they say they're gonna go do something, they do it. And I think that's where we got like our big fan base from, was actually backing up what we said.
Exactly. And then again, ESPN, they gave you that platform to do what you guys were doing, but you guys were
huge
also
TV
touring.
hustle.
Yeah,
TV hustle. You know what I mean? And that without TV and ESPN and X Games, like the group, militia, myself, all the athletes wouldn't be what we are today without them.
Well, I would say in a different way, but on the underground, in the action sports community, the Krusty Demons movies,
Yeah, that set the path for us.
That lit it up because I would go to I would throw premieres for my films, and there'd be some people there. I'd go to Vegas for the Krusty premieres, and it was like thousands of people there.
It was the party.
It was the party. It was huge. And Dana and those guys, they did it up right. And and then they didn't just settle on Glamis. They took you guys to Australia, Brazil, the whole 9
all
yards.
different countries. Those film trips were fun, man. Especially back in the day when you're young, you just get to travel. You have no worries. You ain't paying for nothing. You're just hanging out on someone else's dime. Like, it was cool. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And then that set up the ESPN thing. And then boom, you're a superstar, right?
Yeah.
Life is good. Everything's going the right way.
Can't complain.
And then, a year ago?
Maybe 2 years ago now.
Yeah. 2010, things started getting a little shaky. Rumors are going around, and Metal Militia is kind of like not so good, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even actually really militia. It was just like me and Deegan just didn't see eye to eye. Like I had what I wanted to do, he had what he wanted to do, and how he wanted to be portrayed. And I felt like I was getting the short end of the stick for helping build this huge group of dudes and a team and a company. And I just looked at it like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, me and this dude ain't even cool anymore. Like, I don't respect him. He don't respect me. Like, I just looked at it like, this is my time to get out of here while I still can. While I still have an opportunity to go out and ride and promote my own stuff.
It was a big story. And you got to know, when you leaving Metal Militia was, for our industry.
Yeah.
It was like Tim Tebow leaving the Denver Broncos and going to the Jets.
Yeah, that's where he was from.
It was huge. I mean, you was on K-Rock. It was on ESPN broke news. I mean, you were on ESPN, like, their news. You were like a blur.
The regular news.
Sports Center. You were on Sports Center going, Twitch is leaving, Metal Militia. K-Rock talked about it. It was all over the blogosphere, RacerX Online, VXMX. Everybody's talking about it. And this is what you had to say. We originally started out as a group of guys that just loved to ride dirt bikes and hang out. And hey, if we could earn a little money doing so, even better. For me, the Metal Militia has gotten away from that these days. Don't get me wrong, I am appreciative. The now very corporate Metal Militia was not supportive of everything that the militia has meant to me, but at the same time, I feel like I have been a loyal and constant presence on the team. I continue to compete and win competitions and always try to give back to our fans. As a company, the now very corporate Metal Militia was not supportive of the other things in my career. I think for some reason I was being pushed aside, so the decision was really inevitable. It is just that simple. Now, that quote ran rampant. Everywhere. And everybody, you said the very corporate. Now, for those who know, I've been around for a while. In the action sports industry, and the whole idea of people going corporate is like a death knell.
It's like selling out.
Selling out, going corporate. You forgot where you came from. You're not organic anymore. It's not about the riding. It's about making money. And that's what I felt like that statement was being portrayed as. And I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just letting you know that those were your words.
Yep.
And in this industry, you can say that about Tony Hawk. They're saying it about Ryan Sheckler. They're saying everybody wants to be a brand. Everybody wants to make money, and everybody is. Volcom just sold to Gucci.
Yeah.
And they were completely anti-establishment, right?
That was their slogan.
That was their slogan. So after, I guess, a few months of like all this going around and you deciding you were going to leave, this is what Brian Deegan and Link had to say.
Myself, I can't speak for Twitch. I don't know what's going through his mind. You know, like I said, everyone goes through their own little peaks and valleys. All we can do is be there to support Twitch for whatever it is that he decides to do and wish him the best of luck with his career and his line and whatever it is that he wants to do. But other than that, I mean, I can't really speak for what Twitch has going on.
It's true. I mean, it's, you know, every man takes his own path, and, you know, in the end, we're there to help him when he was part of our group. You know, he's made a lot of his own decisions to do other things, so in the end, hopefully, you know, that works out for him and his family, and for us, we're moving forward.
All right, so that's what Deegan had to say.
They were very politically correct.
Well,
very, very soft on it.
I think what Deegan wanted to do with that video was to countermand what Twitch had already said about them being very corporate. He very craftily, you know, put in, you know, we're out here with our groms and we're back to our roots.
Staying core.
To me, what I looked at it as like was when I first saw the video, because I was heated at the time. Like, I didn't want to leave that group. Like, those are my boys. Like, I still hang out with every dude in the group besides Deegan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I looked at it more as like, all right, they're trying to do damage control. They're trying to cover their backs. You know what I mean? Like, in the beginning, I was pissed. I talked crap on Militia. I talked crap on Deegan. But at the same point, I didn't really talk crap. I just spoke the truth. That was my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Larry, dude, Larry's one of my good friends. I hang out with Larry every day. He lives right across the street from me now. Like, I just moved across the street from him, and we've been riding every day. It's just, I'm still cool with everyone in Militia besides Brian. We just don't see eye to eye. I looked at it like, this dude's out for himself, and so I need to look out for myself. Like, I need to look out for my back. It wasn't as fun as a group as I thought it was before. You know what I mean? It just, everyone grew up and everyone changed and everyone had different opinions and what they wanted to do.
Now, this was a very public breakup.
Yeah.
And it became even more public on, you know, the X Life.
Yep.
I mean, we rode that journey with you through X Life, and it was very personal. And I believe you went to an event and there wasn't even a trailer there for you, right?
Yeah, I got a phone call 10 minutes before I'm leaving. Not even a phone call. I got a text message that Brian sent to our team manager in Militia, and he sent it to me. I'm like, dude, like, you couldn't just call me? We've been boys for 15 years. Like, if I had an issue, I would call you and be like, yo, this is going on. Like, can we not film this, or can we do something like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me to get a text message that was forwarded to someone else, that pissed me off right there. That's when I was like, you know what? Like, screw him. I'm over it.
I can see, and Twitch, I will say this. What you do is dangerous.
Yeah.
Your life is dangerous. No one's ever going to question your manhood. No one's going to ever question your bravery, your courage. Right?
Yeah.
You busted bones that no one's ever want to bust. Right? And you've gone in knowing you were going to bust bones, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to question your manhood here, but I will tell you this. I watched the X Live. You were hurt.
Yeah, you were hurt. I was bummed. You know what I mean? Like, that was a group I've been with for 10 years. Those were my boys. That was like my gang.
That was your family.
Yeah, that was my family. Like, we hung out, we did everything together. Like, that, when that happened, like, I couldn't even, so many emotions were running through my head. Like, really? Like, I'm going to have to leave this group now because me and this dude are beefing and he runs it. So I looked at it like, I was pissed. I didn't know what to do.
He is the general.
Yeah.
And, you know, Susie was hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I could see the pain. I mean, you were pissed. I mean,
she was angry. She wasn't hurt.
These are dudes I grew up with.
Yeah, but
these are dudes I looked up to.
He didn't leave anything there for you. And I think that hurt even more.
Yeah.
You're like,
sure.
what the, you know.
Yeah, there was no out.
You know, well, I'm gonna venture into your psyche a little bit. A beef, one-on-one is one thing.
Yeah.
What you do for a living, how we ride, is a whole different animal, and you're taking that away from me.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the line got definitely crossed, and you were like, okay, we're not boys anymore. If you're gonna take the one thing that I love more than anything away from me and just leave me hanging like that, then the line has been crossed. I can't go back.
I think what hurt the worst, like what I had the most feelings is, this is a dude that when I was 15, I looked up to. Like, I want to be like this dude, you know what I mean? And I want to be exactly how he is. I want to be doing what he's doing. And then for him to come and burn me, I was just like, really? Like, this is a dude I trusted. This is a dude that I looked up to. This is a dude I wanted to be like. So at that point, I was just like, you know what? Like, I got no respect for him. If you're going to do stuff like that, like, I'm not going to, like, I would feel bad if I did that to someone, you know what I mean? I just feel like he he chose his path and I chose mine, you know?
Now let's talk. We're up against it. It's been a great interview. Thank you so much for coming in the studio for All Access Sports Radio. Let's talk about 420% All Natural.
Yep.
Where does that title come from?
The movie. I look at movies and I look at all the action sports, and you can go out and make a video part for a street skater, for a snowboarder, BMX, and I looked at these dudes can still go out and make a living, not running contests. So I wanted to be I feel like I can be one of the dudes that can help push freestyle motocross in that direction. Because I know a lot of dudes that still kill it but don't want to ride contests because they don't feel like getting judged. They don't like feeling that pressure. They want to just go out in the hills and ride and build jumps. And that's what we did this year. We went out every time it rained. We went out and shoveled jumps for weeks at a time and just rode them every day and filmed them. And all natural came into play of like the whole video is all natural. There's not one. I don't care if you did 4 backflips off one jump on a ramp or a triple front flip off a ramp at a contest. There's not one contest out. There's none of that. I wanted it to be all natural, just out in the hills, jumps that me and my buddies shoveled or built with a tractor out in the hills.
That sounds like the Dane Reynolds of motocross.
I just wanted to do something different, and I've always wanted to do it. Now I'm getting a little older. I'm like, well, dude, I built my name. Like, I might as well utilize it. And my sponsor's like, why don't you make a video? I'm like, let's do it. And so we got a budget together and we did it. And we made this video more documentary style, explaining like why we go to these hills and shovel. Why do we wait for the rain, or why do we not ride the hills when it's dry? And it's cool. It gives like an understanding of like what we actually do in the wintertime.
Well, Twitch, say hi to Susie for us.
Yep.
And thank you for being part of All Access Sports Radio.
Thanks for having us.
And before we get out, I know we want you to do a drop, but can you tell everyone how they can see, how they can not see, but where they can
get 420?
420% All Natural.
Yeah.
And where they can follow more information about you and Famous Stars and Straps.
420% All Natural is coming out on iTunes May 14th. And then to keep updated with me, I got my Instagram, Twitch this one, and then my Twitter, Twitch this. And all the other stuff that goes on famoussas.com.
Thank you for being our top story of the day. Twitch breaking new ground, breaking all the rules and dispelling all the rumors and myths surrounding him, his life. And man, just keep doing it, man. We're gonna be cheering you on at the X Games. We'll be cheering you on when you race trucks, and just keep going. Tell Susie we said hi. Give your kids a nice hug from us, and good luck going forward.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.